our buddy Tom Curran on the Harbor One hotline. Tommy.
Andrew.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Richard?
I'm very good. Thanks for asking.
Where do we
watch the big game?
Yeah,
I took it in last night. Yep, watched it.
Where do we begin? How about this? Tom Curran, initial thoughts on last night.
Just still flummoxed at the why of it. What was the purpose? What was Bill Belichick trying to accomplish? Was it to knock the rust off of Mac Jones and toggle back and forth in what he thought would be a winnable game? Was it to invite a quarterback competition in game to see who performed better? Was it to appease Mac Jones, who Mike Florio reported pushed extremely hard to play and took the lion's share of the snaps against Bill's better judgment? All of it's so uncharacteristic. I'm still hung up on the why of it. But I do think that the confusion that it's caused actually led us to a conclusion, and that is it's not Bailey Zappe time.
Well, I don't know if it's Mac Jones time either. Neither guy is very good, is how I look at it. But before we get into that a little bit deeper, Tom, I'm curious. Like, as bad as the decision was in my mind to go into a game playing two quarterbacks, maybe even crazier is most of the team not being aware of it. We just had Hunter Henry on last hour. Add him to the list of guys that did not know the plan was to play two quarterbacks. Like, how can you treat quarterback like you would right tackle or, third wide receiver? Like, that part to me is pretty crazy.
It is. But on the other hand, too, how often do we applaud, celebrate, revel in Bill Belichick's unconventional methods that are so enigmatic and mysterious, and nobody knew what Bill was thinking, and he snookered everyone. And I think this would have been another occasion. I think that there are occasions when Bill embraces that, mystique that he is hard to figure out. And I think this would have been a case of doing it. Hey, well, we didn't know he was going to go to Zappe and then back to Mac, and we won 45-7. What a genius.
Right. Or this happens. And now, again, not just because every single team in the league does it this way, including Bill Belichick teams for 20-plus years, but the starting quarterback usually gets the vast majority of the reps during the week. It is the one that they are preparing to play. So I really don't even see what the possible advantage would be outside of your, Bill looks like he's playing chess while everybody's playing checkers type of thing. What is even the upside of playing two guys?
There is none.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Knock the rust off.
I agree. Okay.
Except to knock the rust. And what I keep coming back to, though, is this Florio report that says that Mac had 95% of the snaps in practices, and he pushed and pushed to be on the field. So if Bill Belichick is now appeasing players because he feels like, well, it's just the Bears, we can deal with these guys. We've got a big game coming up Sunday, and what's the worst that could happen?
Tommy, is Bill Belichick in a way being more supportive of his offensive coordinator than he is his quarterbacks?
Yes. I don't think it's by design. I think that he has a chain of command that he believes in, though. And I think he would prefer to see Mac Jones succeed. I can't shake the stuff that he said at the beginning of training camp, guys. On the first day he was available, Mac made a dramatic improvement in the offseason in every single way, and he was very good as a rookie. Just lauding him in every turn. I believe that Bill Belichick wants Mac Jones to succeed, be his quarterback for the foreseeable future, and take him to the playoffs. But I think the number of things that Bill has done have caused a regression. He's kneecapped his progress in so many different ways. The latest one being, we're going to put him out there for 3 series, and then regardless of the outcome on the third one, we're going to take him out. To get serenaded by boos on national television, to have everybody in the planet basically thinking it was for performance, and only a segment of the population listening to his explanation that it wasn't for performance, and an even smaller segment believing that. Set him up.
Well, that's my question, Tom, and we kind of kicked this around last time we talked to you about, if Mac Jones struggles in front of the home crowd with everybody all fired up for Zappe. Well, doomsday scenario for him happened last night.
We did talk about that, didn't we?
We did. Oh, yeah. We said, what would that be like and how would the player respond? So not only do you get Zappe chance, but then you get this huge ovation for Zappe to come out there. Looks good for 2 series. Then, second half turns back into a pumpkin. But the combination of the crowd clearly wanting Bailey Zappe and Bill Belichick benching him on Monday Night Football, how do you think Mac Jones responds to both of those things going forward?
Imagine the scenario of, say, it was 23-21 and Belichick stuck to his plan of bringing Mac back in the fourth quarter. Imagine that. If the Patriots are up 23-21.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
Mac,
right.
Get back in there. People would have lost their minds. And then if they went 3-0, it would have been an insurrection. I mean, it's unbelievable. How do you fathom? This is, again, to me, the upshot of it is they didn't take the Bears seriously.
Yeah.
They think they're better than they are.
Tom,
They think they're better than they are.
No, that's true.
Is it just me? And I'm curious for your feel on this. You get 3 drives of Mac Jones, and it didn't look like the kind of play calling that there was for Bailey Zappe. And we learned in the 2 weeks of Bailey Zappe, it was a little less shotgun, a little less pressing it down the field. There was more motion. There was more, 6 offensive linemen, things like that. And yet, here we are with Mac again, and it's like, okay, let's do what we did in Miami because Mac's in there. Am I overvaluing that? Like, that's the part of this that doesn't correlate, because to me, that's where Bill Belichick would have looked at the OC and been, what the hell are we doing here?
No, you're exactly right. There is more play action. The play action seems better designed in these instances. I can't give you play-by-play on the differences, but it was laid out pretty well over the period of time that the 30 drives that Bailey Zappe was the quarterback. 81% of the time they had more than 5 players in. With Mac, it was 51% of the time. There was 3 times as many screens, I believe it was. The play action numbers were off the charts. Average depth of target was vastly higher with Mac, around 10, was around 6 with Bailey Zappe. So a lot of it was different. Last night, Phil Perry and I just talked about it on my podcast. What were the differences? And it wasn't really a shining, he wasn't in shotgun more. There wasn't more play action, but, the offense does seem to operate differently in different ways. With the play calling is different, the schemes and designs are different. Or the timing of the play calls are different. I don't think it's strictly, hey, Mac's deciding to do this and Bailey's deciding to do that. And if Mac would decide to do the things that Bailey's doing, it would work out better. And I said this too, just to babble on even further. The reason it's not the same is the Patriots probably look at it and say, well, you're in the 300 class. He's in the 100 class. You do 300 class things because that's what evolved offenses do. They get better and more complicated and more sophisticated. Figure it out. And Matt probably wants that because he's the one who's constantly agitating for more and more and more. So it's just bizarre. The upshot of it is, though, they're 2-7 in the kid's last 9 starts.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He keeps having more and more knee-buckling picks.
You're right. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, he's only one of a handful of quarterbacks that has more interceptions than touchdowns. I think his QB rating is like 34th in the league or whatever. So as much as you said, hey, Bailey Zappe kind of, fell apart in the second half and didn't do enough clearly to say he's definitely the starter. But then if you just take the 3+ games that Mac Jones has played this year, that's also been poor. Belichick had a chance today to say who the starter is, and obviously he did not. What is the plan in your mind going forward? What do you think it's going to be? And no matter who starts on Sunday, how long of a leash does that guy have?
I'm going to say what I believe to be the case prior, and believe that Bill Belichick will do normal Bill Belichick things, which is to do what's best for the team, which would be to go with the more talented, albeit shaky at this moment, Mac Jones, and figure out what you have with him. He was a Pro Bowl level player last year. He was not the problem in the loss to Buffalo in the playoffs. He performed well in the Ravens game in terms of passing and making dynamic passes that Bailey Zappe really can't make, even though he had those picks. Just cut the crap with the idiocy, please, son. And you're a better player. So go with the better player.
Tommy, in terms of, you mentioned Mac's record, right? So you go back to last year, 27 to Indy, 33 to Buffalo. They hung 50 on Jacksonville, but we know it was Jacksonville. 33 to the Dolphins. We know what happened in the playoff game. They give up 37 against Baltimore. It feels like Mac's being blamed for everything. How's he ruined the defense? And what do we make of last night? How did Mac ruin the defense last night for the Patriots as well?
Yeah, we're losing sight of that too. And we drink or get intoxicated by 6 fourth down stops against the Detroit Lions, or confounding Aaron Rodgers for a quarter, or befuddling Jacoby Brissett. We all do it. We tend to oversell what we're seeing, myself included. My take going into the game was, hey, we're focused on this, and it's a 3-3 team that's about to go to 4-3. I don't know why they're so permissive sometimes defensively. I don't know why they can't deal with. They try to get faster, but anytime they see a scrambling quarterback who can make plays off schedule, they have a tremendously difficult time. I think a lot of it last night was scheme. Drop everybody in simple cover 2 and see if Justin Fields can throw it straight. And he could. And he could also move around. And once you gave him just a glimpse, just a tiny cup of water after living in a desert for 5 weeks, he started guzzling and actually looked like a really good player.
What do you make, if anything, of the fact that Bailey Zappe spoke before Bill Belichick last night after the game?
I don't make anything of it.
You don't think it's
there are sometimes
you don't think it's hanging the kid out to dry by not having the coach talk before a rookie who's probably scared to death to say anything out there?
No, I don't. I don't think Bill. I don't think he gets that hung up in the post game as to things like that. He probably wanted to try and figure out what in God's name, what the injuries were with Duggar or whoever, and or David Andrews, and take care of some of that business. And I think honestly that goes back to my belief too that Bill knows that Bailey Zappe's not his quarterback for this year. He knows it's Mac Jones. He didn't want to have Mac Jones out there because he didn't think he was entirely ready. That's why he decided he was going to do a platoon and he could escape with a win. And right now, Bailey Zappe's going to retreat to the background. That's my belief.
Do you think he believes that Mac Jones is the quarterback of the future here, or is that still up in the air?
I think with each passing week, more doubt creeps in, but I still think that Bill would believe that he can get a smart, accurate, determined, passionate quarterback going in the right direction. I don't think that Mac is broken. I think he needs some, permanently broken.
I was going to say they're trying to break him, but if he hasn't broken yet, they're trying.
They could really use the bye.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, I said, what would improve about Mac Jones? We had to do all these little exercises to create digital content. Mm-hmm. Yay! I said the one thing he'll be better equipped at, he'll be resilient. He will have gone through so much this year, and this was before the first game. Mm-hmm. He will have gone through so much this year that he'll be so calloused up, he'll be ready for anything by the end of the year. I don't think he could have been ready for this.
No.
Yeah, Tommy, Isaiah Wynn was down last night, assuming a healthy scratch. When does he get traded?
Who wants to have a $10 million Isaiah Wynn?
Well, somebody. I mean, that's the thing. Like, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
He was on the injury report. You could say he was
hurt.
But
that was very.
I think you're stuck with him.
I was curious.
It was.
It was curious, and he's just played poorly, and to see the way Trent Brown played in his stead, just to immediately assume the mantle of I've got a penalty on each of the first few drives.
Yeah.
Was mind-blowing. The whole team was
undisciplined.
Not ready to play.
No, they weren't.
And do you ascribe that? And Jake Bailey, my guy. Oh,
yikes!
Do we ascribe this to the confusion at quarterback, to the team taking the Bears lightly despite Bill's 7-minute soliloquy? What do we attribute that kind of a no-show performance to?
I think part of it is the back-to-back wins in blowout fashion, and then a lot of these guys thinking like, oh, and we did that with a third-string quarterback. Now we're getting the starting quarterback back, and I think the whole team. And then look at the Bears. You could say all the right things during the week, but the Bears that's a bad team.
There was no reason to respect them.
So yeah, because I think even the quarterback confusion that didn't really take place until later. Like a lot of guys just found out on that fourth drive. Oh, Mac's out, but you're already down 10-zip, and you weren't moving the ball anyway. So. Yeah, just a whole lot of things kind of fell into place.
And this is what happened. They beat remember they beat Jacksonville 50-10 last year, and Ted Johnson's on the postgame saying he didn't like seeing the guys dancing around and having a great time. I'm like, why? They won 50-10. They should be having a good time. Lo and behold, over the next three games, they were horrendous.
That's true.
Horrendous.
Yeah. Remember Bill with the punks of '09, right? Remember Junior Sal came to him. I've been called a punk in forever. And
Rough.
well, maybe shades of that. Tommy Curran of NBC Sports Boston. Tommy, thank you, friend. And I know you'll join Merlone, Fourier, and Mego Thursday at 4:30. We'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, guys. See ya.
There we go.